It is finally time that I get back to the short track. We have had 3 races happen since my previous video. I gotta update you guys on these, but more importantly, I wanted to really test out how much quicker is a 29er versus a 26-inch mountain bike. So to set the stage, I am going to actually go through these 2 races. The very first race I did at the short track series, if you don't know what short track is, it is essentially a very short mountain bike race, and they do it timed, so it's similar to a crit race on a road bike, except you're on a mountain bike. The very first race I did, if you didn't watch any of those videos, go back and watch them. I wanted to race a 26-inch homegrown because that was the first mountain bike I ever raced. So it's like coming full circle, right back to my roots. It was a fun time. I ended up second, which I was extremely surprised with. I'm racing single speed, if you didn't know, in this, because I figured if there is a disadvantage running a smaller wheel size, I can make up that disadvantage by just running a higher gear than everybody else. I learned some things about that. But for the second race, I felt like the major climb on this course was just a little bit too hard with a 36-16, so I bumped my gearing down to a 36-17. Let's just do this first race. Let's knock it out of the park. Here, get my headphones set up. But there isn't a ton to actually say about this race, except for the fact that I did gear down.
Single speed, 10 seconds. Guys, make sure to call out your passes. Let's have a fun, safe race. 5 seconds. Ready, go!
Gearing down was a complete and total disaster. I do not recommend it, especially if you're on this 26. But the climb did not feel that much easier with the gearing that I had, this 36-17. But I could not keep up on the flats. Like, look at this. Like, Sean just gaps me, and I'm pedaling like a freaking maniac trying to keep up. And I'm just spun out. I don't have enough gear, plain and simple. And it kills me. So once we hit the climb, I did, because of having a smaller gear, think that I had a little bit more oomph to get up it. I could spin a little bit better. I wasn't just mashing gears, which I am definitely more of a spinner than a masher. And that led me to come around Sean. At the end of the day, that was probably not the greatest idea, because Sean and Chris ended up just passing me anyway. On the flats, I could not hold pace at all. I was spinning my guts out. Dang. Woohoo! Oh no. Dude, I think you might have a flat. And then once we hit the climb this time, I blew up all over the place. I couldn't hold it. James here comes around me, super quick dude. And I couldn't even sit on his wheel. I tried my hardest, but this was just, it was one of those days. I'm sure you've all been there. You feel great, and then just people start passing you, and you start getting passed, and somebody else passes you. And you're just like, it's like trying to hold on to a rope that's just got Vaseline on it. You're just like, oh my God, I can't hold on. So at this point, I'm in 4th. And that's about the entire race. From this point on, I could just see glimpses of James. I saw that he ended up actually catching Sean and Chris. I believe Sean gets dropped from the 2 of them. And James ends up getting second, and Chris won. Chris beat James in the final sprint. The only other redeeming quality of this race, the race number 2 in the Winter Short Track Series, is that one of my good friends, Lee, was out there taking pictures. I hadn't seen him in a while, so it was fun making faces and goofing off while he took pictures. He's a good dude. Woo! Thanks, buddy. With me getting 4th and 2nd on the first day, Sean, I believe, just got 3rd and 3rd. That tied us for points. So at the end of the 2 races, me and Sean were tied for 2nd, and then Chris Pratt, of course, was 1st. The way I came upon a 29er to race, I know this is going to sound like a bunch of excuses. I'm not going to lie that I was excited that my bicycle kind of broke. Okay, it's all fixable stuff, but basically my front suspension has been losing air. It is an old SID dual air fork. Don't have seals to fix it. The rear wheels got something funky going on with the free hub. Brakes are terrible. I have a list of excuses, but this gave me an opportunity to borrow a friend's extra large 29er XTC and race it, and I thought that would be a great opportunity since it's the same exact course to compare my lap times from the 26-inch from the first week to a 29er. Now let's move on to the more interesting race. It was a good race to watch. Going into this, my objective really was to finish with Chris, because when I was on the 26, Chris beat me by like 2 minutes, 2 to 2.5 minutes. I'll have to go back and check, but it was quite a lot. A jump in wheel size is not gonna just net you 2 to 2.5 minutes, right?
Guys, again, let's have a good, clean, safe race. Got a big group. Thank you all for coming out. 5. Go! And our single speed race now underway. Good job.
There was a threat of rain all morning. We were lucky enough that it never fully came. So I wasn't trying to completely just ride my guts out since I was on the front. So here I started to get a little bit crowded. I mean, people were all vying for the first spot in the woods, but coming up is a slight downhill, and there was a lull in the pack. I decided to just be first in the woods, so I attacked. So the gearing I chose for this, I forgot to mention that, is a 3416, but with 29 wheels, a 3416 gear inch wise is like a 61.5, somewhere around there. On my 26, it was like a 59.5. So technically this gearing on a 29 is harder, and that climb was easier. And I still had more gear over the top over on the flats. Chris was catching me. I'm still by myself on lap 2. I'm not 100% caught yet. Got a leader back. Oh, you all right, buddy? Oh, watch out. Good. I do want to apologize because I try to be super courteous every single time I pass someone. You know, I should have said on your left here, but I didn't. I apologize. It is what it is. Rubbin's racing, whatever. Glad you're all right. Let's move along. Dude, sweet bike.
Thanks, buddy.
That bike is a fat chance. I think a Yo Eddie. Sweet bike. I would love to have one. Those things are awesome.
Hey, there's a camera boss out front right now. Chris Pratt right behind him. 1-2, currently in our single 3 division. James Hanna.
Yeah, so Chris is almost on my wheel. And then James, I think, is a few bike lengths behind him. So we're really close to each other, first, second, and third. I really got to get a rear-facing camera. So right there, as I am coming out of the turn, you can see Chris and James are entering the turn. So that's not even 5 seconds between first, second, and third. On your left here, buddy. Oh, on this side. My average heart rate for this event was somewhere in the 165 range, so my heart rate was much lower than previously. I think my average heart rate whenever I was riding the old 26 was like 180. Someone lost a bar plug.
You were ripping these earlier.
James actually kind of scared the crap out of me because I didn't know they caught me. And so I was talking to myself, and then whenever he responded, I was like, what? So I had a gap coming out of the woods, hit the pavement. I wanted to keep the pace high, got my heart rate up to like 180-ish to see if I can hold the gap over the top. Ah, damn. As you can tell, I look behind me and he is right on my wheel. Chris is not on my wheel. So James essentially passes Chris, catches me, and now it's me and James going into, I believe this is going to be the final lap. Obviously, I'm a little bit worried because if someone is strong enough to catch you, obviously they're going faster than you are. This is when tactics come into play. Because in my head, I'm thinking James is stronger than I am. I need to be first in the woods because I want to dictate the pace. I do not want to get dropped in the woods and have to close down a gap. I want to be the one creating gaps. One back. Yeah. One on your left here. Good job, buddy. So, and this is it. This is the final time coming up said climb, and James is right there. He puts in a dig, locks his fork out, gets into a somewhat aero position. My heart rate max out, man. It's like 180 to 190. So right here, James gets in a super aero position, and I am trying to close it down, but I'm running out of gear, I'm running out of steam, my heart rate is maxed out. Right here, I put my head down, I'm like, gosh, I'm getting second. This is it, I got second. It sucks. I can't get second, I need to attack. So I stand up, I get a couple good pedal strokes in, and I actually catch up to him. I think I catch him just in time where he doesn't realize that he had a substantial gap, I don't know for a fact, but as soon as I catch him, now we're in the cat and mouse stage. We have one more turn to go. You don't want to be necessarily the first guy coming out of the last turn in a race because that you create a draft. We had enough gap, we had a little bit of time to play this cat and mouse game. Chris was far enough back that me and him could go back and forth. There's the burp.
Are you for a while?
Yeah.
Good finish, guys. You were doing a good job, gentlemen.
I got the W. I got the win. I was actually very happy with that effort. Whenever you train so hard that you can ride off the front and win, that's a good feeling, I guess, but it's nowhere near as good as battling somebody like that. That was a fun race. Fun event. So let's take a look at my lap times between this race and my first race. My first race was the fastest race that I did on a 26-inch. Let's see the difference in the two. I tend to not look at split one because that does include the actual start of the race, which is half of the crit course lap back. So let's just look at like split 2 through split like 4. Chris did end up beating me by 2.5 minutes, I checked. So my second lap on the 29er was a 5:50, which is pretty reasonable for a single speed. That's not a bad lap time at all. A minute and 6 seconds between both of my second laps. A minute and 6 seconds. Split 3 was a 6:52 on the 26-inch. And a 5:51. So my lap times are relatively consistent, but I'm just gonna round it to like a minute. Let's go to split 5, because that's when you start getting tired. So 6:59, over a minute. A minute in a, let's just round it to a 6 to 7 minute lap is huge. That is a lot of freaking time. And all I did was change wheel size. Yeah, whatever you want to do with that information, go for it. I underestimated the difference that having a bigger wheel size has, honestly, going into this, because to me, gear inches are gear inches. It doesn't matter about rollover or that kind of crap, because it's a short track course. This course is not very difficult. So I thought if I just put a higher gear inch on the smaller wheel size, it would make up for the fact that the wheel size is small, right? The climb is definitely harder, even if the gear inches are lower on the 26. That was huge difference. And just being able to hold speed on the flats on a 29 so much easier. I mean, there is a reason why road bikes essentially have had the same 29 700C inch wheel size for however many years they've had it now, and that is because of these lap times right here, right? So yeah, I thought it'd be cool to compare the two, and not that I thought the 26 would be faster, but I did not expect it to be a full minute slower. That's the first 3 races knocked out of the park in the Winter Short Track Series. I just completed race 4. Stay tuned for that. I am going to be combining race 4 and 5 in a final video thing. So this basically put me in second overall, winning this one. I'm starting to close in on Chris. We'll see what happens in race 4. Race 5 is this weekend. I hope to see everyone there. Thanks for the support. Thanks for cheering me on when I'm out there. It's always cool when people are yelling for you, and I don't know who you are, but it's cool. So anyway, I'll see you guys there. Yeah, that's all I got for you. I'm gonna go eat breakfast now, so my stomach will stop